So this is the Great Albums podcast. So I want to ask you about some of your favorite music too. Do you remember the first album that you purchased with your own money?
Yeah, Rolling Stones, Tattoo You.
Ooh.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think the funny thing about this is,
God.
and I'm sorry for repeating this story because I think I told Jim Hanke this on his podcast,
That's
but
fine.
I remember listening to that record, and it's Start Me Up, and then I realized that like the rest of the album aren't necessarily hits. Like I was, like when it's like you have an album that has a hit on it, or whatever, a couple hits, and then you just think that every song is going to be just a straight up banger, and they're not, because like that's just whatever. And that was my first impression of buying a complete record, not a 45 where it's just the hit and not this, whatever, like, and not the radio, which just plays all the hits. So it's like, this is the first document of an album, of this band at this time. And I was sort of taken aback, like, not all these songs are all that good.
So you didn't do the
not appreciating the album as a whole, as a journey.
Tops though. What a great deep cut though on that album.
Yeah, I mean, like it's just one of these things that like that was such a learning experience for me as far as like albums.
Yeah. What album have you listened to that does do that you have felt, does its job from top to bottom all the way through?
There are so many, but one that first comes into mind
Mount
was
Rushmore.
only because it only ties back to Very Emergency, is Dismemberment Plan's Emergency and I, because we had a copy of it, and that we would listen to on our way to the studio and back. The Dismemberment Plan, to me, I think of all the bands that we've toured with and played with and stuff, and no shade to any of the other bands, but like, I think they're 30 years on or 20 years on or whatever, I think kind of the most fondly of end of record that I put on as a fan, not as like a testament of, or a documentation of nostalgia, like, so I feel like, and the other record again that's ties me back to a certain thing is Orange Rhyming Dictionary by Jets of Brazil, is another record that like I think is pretty much perfect, but ties me to those tours that we did when we brought them on in Europe and then the States, so I think like the two records that I think tie, that I think are perfect, that are in sort of the world of my past.
Yeah.
Those are those two. Kind of like more recent records, like
that was going to be my follow-up question. What are you listening to now?
Okay. I really got into, this is really stupid, but I really got into dark wave. So I'm really into this band called Black Marble.
Okay.
And then this other band called Choir Boy. It's just random bands that, again, like I listened to a couple things, and then now like now I just got totally into them. None of their records I think are perfect records though. But I really, really like them. But like one of the most recent perfect records was Sharon Van Etten's Are We There? That's like my like Saturday morning, cooking breakfast album, like that's how
Sharon Van Etten's a good Saturday morning,
like,
weekend morning cooking breakfast.
Yeah, like what you cook with is your favorite records.
Ooh.
Right?
Can I tell you mine? I mean, while we're here, well, it's not my cooking record, but when I was a little kid, my dad used to make us breakfast on Sunday mornings. He would put on Whipped Cream and Other Delights by
Oh,
Herb Alpert and the Tijuana
yes,
Brass.
I know that
So
record well.
every time,
It's in
yeah.
every Goodwill.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I ever lose that copy, I could just lie to my mom and be like, "Oh yeah, I still have it," and I just go to the Goodwill and buy it for 99 cents.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a Sunday, that is a Saturday or Sunday morning,
Mhm.
parents down in the kitchen making breakfast for us.
Yeah, it's
But
funny
it's
how albums.
those records are important to have though,
Yeah.
like creating the association between a particular album and a particular event. I listen to this album every Saturday with my parents, or if you're saying I put Sharon Van Etten on when I make breakfast with my family, or when we took this road trip or whatever. Like that's such an important thing. That's why
Yeah.
we do this. That's why we do this pod in the first place, is to try to find that connective tissue in a way between these albums and those core memories that we make with them.
Mhm. Yeah, totally. And it's so weird at what albums you gravitate towards,
Yeah.
because my dinner record when I'm making dinner or when I'm making things is Sunny Day Real Estate's LP2, the pink one, for
Ooh.
whatever reason. Like I haven't even thought of that record for like a bunch of years, but then I like put it on when I was making dinner one night and I'm like, oh, this is a great record to make dinner to.
Yeah.
That feels like you need it's like dinner's a little spicier than breakfast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
So,
it's a little more aggression, a little more like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's totally.